gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quest for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Asian Minor. We're here, obviously, with the first best of 3 of the day. This is the last day of play, and we're seeing TyLoo going up against MVP, and so far it's actually been a crazy clash. We went to overtime on the first map, it was Dust 2. Now we move to Overpass.
Yeah, Overpass, one of my favourite maps at the moment. Quite looking forward to this one. And again, TyLoo on paper are favourites, but MVP were playing quite well and had a really good chance to take that first map. TyLoo will be starting on the CT side though, so maybe MVP being 1-0 down will be up against it. In this situation, we will see how that goes. But yeah, TyLoo again, I think they've been underperforming quite a lot these last few days. So by no means is any map pick a given to either of these teams. MVP, what's good is when they've, in maps where they've come close but lost, like the nukes, for example, and other maps, it hasn't deterred them, hasn't caused them problems, you know, in performance in future maps. Hasn't been a psychological issue for them as maybe it was with Atletico's performance, although in fairness they did lose in quite dramatic fashion.
And they also had a stand-in as well.
Yes,
so that's something we didn't talk enough about maybe.
From Mongolia, we should also add.
Yeah, Mr. Urkas. But yeah, I think it's quite cool to see that MVP are very focused. I think this is something that I generally attach to some of the Korean teams. You know, in my mind, it's a thing from Korea of all the professional teams and players I've seen in the past. Generally, they're very good in competition. Generally, they're very good in these psychologically pressured moments. Either way, as we move on to Overpass, it's going to be really cool to see how the performances do go, because HSK, the AWPer, I think he did really good work in the end of Dust 2, but it wasn't quite enough for MVP. And TyLoo, obviously, Mo was the reason that they got back into Dust 2, a map that they probably should never have lost, even though they didn't in the end, but it kind of felt like they were for the longest time. And moving into pistol round, we've seen loads of interesting pistols. What do MVP have for us this time?
TyLoo looking to play a retake situation on B, and MVP have gone 5 Kevlars. They've got no grenades whatsoever, just charging into the site. Let's see what their post-plant situations are going to be. So they've been afforded the entire site, but can they hold it? TyLoo must have a plan here. They've got 3 players coming in for a flank. Didi still on the high ground. Oh, there's a boost coming in. This could take Didi completely by surprise. An off angle, if he pushes a little bit. Sign is waiting, but his teammate's taking damage at the same time. Lovely stuff. Now the short play comes in, but it's close for the Glocks as well, which means headshots going in every direction. 2 versus 2 at the moment. Both CTs split up, looking for the final players. One behind the pillar, that's Argency, takes somebody down, and Fancy will be soon to follow. Successful pistol for MVP.
I love that boost. That was really great stuff there. And Sign had a very good timing, waiting almost for the player who was attacking from the upper position to run out of bullets before going for his peaks, making it very safe indeed. MVP able to close it down. And this is one of those maps where you have a lot of options on the CT side with your force buy. So let's see what TyLoo can accomplish here. And let's see how MVP approach it, because there's lots of ways you can approach this where you kind of play into perhaps the best possible chances of the pistols moving into those ranges of places like Connector, which seems all too common.
TyLoo going for the full force buy. 2 players in B. And they've got 3 players very close to Connector. That CZ has done colossal damage. The reload is too long, but he's still alive. Finally goes down. Argentina with a Mach 10. Can they recover from this? The short play coming in. MVP losing players very quickly. Argentina with 2 frags. Needs to clean out the other 2 as well. Looking for the trade fragger. Coming in from the back, but he's going to get shot straight in the head. That was a very fast round. CZ's so savage. MVP went for the fast play once again, and then they were broken in half.
Yeah, it was a really, really nice amount of damage there. It's kind of crazy to see that it worked in that way, because I felt like MVP had a good approach into that one, just trying to barrel down the monster tunnel, but the CZ comes into play. And it's interesting too, because a lot of teams are beginning to expect these kinds of rounds, because you either see that or you see A-Long. I'm more of a fan of A-Long generally, but well, it's going to work out for Mr. TyLoo. Don't know if I'm saying Mr. TyLoo, but it's going to work out for Team TyLoo.
Mr. TyLoo sounds like a brand of like chocolates or something. Maybe they will release chocolates in future. NIP did.
That's very true, yeah. I never tried it though.
Oh wow, MVP actually. This is a force buy then. This is a force buy. We've gone from 100% to 95. Not working out for them though. Rinder and HSK quickly go down. So not much going on. Frags in isolation. The bomb, it has not been collected, but at this point they may not need it. 2 versus 5. Argentina with the AK, soon to be dispatched. There goes Sound as well. So that's the first force buy I have seen from MVP early on in a map.
Yeah, it's actually very true. It's a good thing to note. It's very common for other teams, but they definitely tend to shy away from it. The sad thing, though, is that they didn't really combine properly. As you used the word isolation, that's absolutely what happened. They got caught one by one, and one of the reasons was because the kind of connector area between the toilets and A-Long, they didn't have anyone looking into that area, and there was just CT waiting there. Heard all the steppings, like, well, I'm just going to run behind you and kill you, and it's very simple. And so lots of things missed by MVP there that they can improve upon. Now it's just P250s, and it's a good start. They pick up a kill onto Mo into the connector area. Once again, we described how that can be very problematic.
Yeah, the connector area on an anti-eco causes lots of variance for the CTs, and now they've lost 2 players, and they're not in a position to stop these weapons from being picked up. DD's on the flank, and now Attacker's gone down as well. Where have all the players gone for TyLoo? This is the eco run for MVP. The force buy was defeated quite swiftly.
Yeah, this is really, really sad for TyLoo right now. This should not be happening, but there's still an opportunity to save it. And hopefully for their sake, they won't lose any more players in doing so. But the bomb is definitely going down here. You've got Argency punching in the numbers, and there it is. We get somebody striking there from short. We get the play in from Monster as well. Now it's just going to be somebody left alive as he pushes in to find these Ts. And he is against the clock and also against Sound with the AK. And he has been crisp on Dust 2, and he's looking to start off in quite the snappy way here on Overpass as well. So 2-2 is the scoreline, and that round I don't even know how those frags happened.
Well, again, it all starts off with the CT pushing connector on his own, facing as well. It just causes so many rounds. Eco's force buys so many rounds. Connector causes problems for CTs when they are the ones with the buy, and it continues. I don't know what happened with the other frags.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, they all came in so quickly. Fancy, though, still manages to get an AWP out. Naded and blinded. He'll be forced away. 4 players for MVP starting up high. And they'll have a Sign lurking towards the B area. Keep an eye on if either team choose to take possession of short B. In fact, somebody's creeping into short B at the moment. And there's an opportunity for him to be pinched between these 2 sides. But for now, Rinder's going to take Mo down towards long. There's no eyes towards long, which is going to force Fancy to pull back towards the site, which means that toilets can be taken by the Ts.
Yeah, it's a good position for Fancy to be in at the moment. And TyLoo don't have to really do anything to react right now, because they have somebody in the sewers. And that's kind of the only play you really need as far as information goes. And it's a very good position. He gets 1 frag. I think he saw it. Yeah, he must have seen the bomb. He killed the bomb. So that is a bit of information. But with a minute left, it doesn't tell TyLoo too much just yet. And that's a pretty interesting situation now because Ridder gets the kill onto A long, onto DD. So basically, effectively putting TyLoo on one player on a bomb site, and that's their defense. It's not a good look for the defense. And with also a player creeping into the B site, which is going to be a sign, there could be problems here for TyLoo.
Stereo frags coming in for the CT side, though. Fancy delivering once again. Last player is the bomb carrier for MVP. Nice shoulder pick there. Gets tagged through the wall, though. 24 seconds. He really needs to get this pick before the other players come in. Running blind. He'll finally get taken down by attacker. MVP. Again, they picked up the bomb after it went down in connector and then just held for quite a while before moving through the toilets. But again, it's the individual play from Fancy. A lot of, I mean, he had 39 frags in the previous map. A lot of attention may have been taken away by the flashy plays from Mo, but Fancy, towards the end of the last map, also delivered with AWP and does so again here. Very nice positioning from him.
So now it's time to get a proper eco in from MVP, and we'll see just a few flashes, which is I always love just a couple flashes on a round like this. They've got a couple PT50s, a couple Tech 9s, so there's something to work with to get frags. But the setup here for TyLoo on A-Long is very nice, and they're playing together as well. It'll be very hard for the pistoling players to actually isolate the CTs, which is one of the ways you can do some damage in a round like this for MVP. But even though they get onto the bomb site, the bomb itself cannot be planted. It's not safe. And TyLoo looking to clean up the rest of the round.
Sign with a flash on the B bomb site. See if he can get any damage in. I'm disappointed that he didn't say couple tings in that round. Definitely opportunity to drop a couple tings. Maybe even couple tings blood.
Yeah, I'm not streets enough, really, so
no, you're more.
I can't pull it off.
Yeah, more
what?
More rambling hiker than urban mandim. What on earth am I saying?
I don't know. Honestly, I just don't even know where to go with that. Sign, though, he knows where to go with this PT50. He can just sit and bank at the moment. And it's very likely, actually, at some point, with 40 seconds left, that he can find a timing to catch a player out. So this is really meaningful for MVP. If Sign can get a kill and maybe steal a gun away or maybe even more than one kill, then that's beautiful here. Obviously, it doesn't really want to survive after time, but...
Yeah, DD's holding the angle, though, although he's holding multiple angles. But he's mostly looking towards Sign's position. Sign has been spotted. Sign has been executed. He's been delivered from evil. Amen. TyLoo with a 2-round lead at the moment by coming back in, one would presume, for MVP. The match has been paused, though, so maybe some discussion. It is a tactical pause from MVP at present. I do wonder if what Argency will do. If he goes for the AK buy, he will have a flashbang, and that's it. So maybe he'll go for utility. We have seen that before. Nope, it's the AK and a flash for him. Rest of the team coming out for the buy. HSK on AWP, of course. I wonder how HSK feels at the moment, because the way Fancy and Mo have been playing with the ops on the CT side, he's got a very hard job ahead of him. And it seems to be Fancy who's the primary opera at the moment, on this map at least, for TyLoo. At least on the CT side. Again, Mo was hyper-aggressive on the T side, and maybe he will be the primary when the halves are changed, but that will be a while yet. Look at the initial layout. Fancy, if you got a forward spawn, it's always nice to go for that peek. That's a very cheeky one, though, and Argentina will shut him down. Yeah,
and it's interesting because MVP have a lot of time to play with. And I like that they're not overreacting here. That said, TyLoo, with a response of their own, they have another player in the connector area. He's going to exit back towards toilets because he's the only guy towards the ace of the map. And at the same time, Attacker goes in, living true to his name, attacking straight through the smoke, picks up a second kill there. There's no trade coming in from MVP. That's a big problem. Down to 3 players now after an early round advantage. That's absolutely gutting for them. The only thing that they really have going for them at the moment is time, because they definitely don't have any map control and they don't have the man advantage. Quite the opposite.
I love the reactive play from TyLoo. At a disadvantage, let's take an advantage straight back with a calculated risk. Something that they have done better than MVP in the previous maps. Lovely stuff, though. Score or numbers evened up. Somebody's position, though, is very strong, and this may not be checked by MVP as this plant comes down. Question is, will somebody push, or will he wait for his teammates to join him? The bomb hasn't been planted just yet. Now we've got DD in position, so when the bomb plant comes in, surely the peak will come in from the short position as well. DD can run distraction. Somebody still being patient towards short, though. The push through the smoke, very ill-advised by Argency. An advantage for the CTs now, and the rest of the cleanup comes in. I don't know if there was any attempt for a flashbang from a teammate there or something, but That was a gamble that didn't pay off.
Yeah, kind of a weird jump through the smoke there. I mean, you don't have any. I mean, you're essentially jumping into the retake there. You're pushing into kind of what is territory the CTs already have, and you're doing it blind. Definitely ill-advised. 5-2 the score now as TyLoo start to take a lead, and this is going to be nice for them to actually start off strong, because I don't think that's been too common lately. And again, yesterday, if you guys missed it, TyLoo actually lost the series against VG Gaming, which is kind of unbelievable considering the statistics between those two teams. TyLoo looking to come into resurgency here with a strong result on Overpass, and this is what you mentioned just now. Mo suited well to the aggressions that we typically know for the CT side of Overpass. Misses the shot though, and he's in trouble here. He's got a Tech 9, that should help massively, but there's a lot of players with pistols. He's going to run through the smoke. Very smart risk to take there, as he can't really back away, but he will go down and give away the AWP.
Amazing stuff from Mo. It's very scary when he's got AWP. TyLoo lose just one person, which means they're going to be stacking the cash as MVP come back in for the buy. 4-round deficit now. Let's see what change in approach they can have. TyLoo on this map and the previous had a number of rounds where we've had individual plays, 2 kills for TyLoo, which is really disables all the ideas and dreams and hopes of MVP, who are back on the buy. And it's Mo back on the AWP, going for the old faithful. Will he be flashed off once again? Seems the flash is missing on this occasion, but there's nobody near the fountain area. Look, this is insane. Mo, maybe with a read, because there's no flash, you realize that something is different for these teams. I love the aggression here. Around the corner just in time, and he's still going back to the well one more time, and he will deliver. Rinder taken down, but a trade is there for Argency.
Yeah, losing that position out of the stairs and connector area was quite problematic. Otherwise, it was a really awesome aggression. Fancy, though, he's in a committed position here. He's going to have to deliver kills whilst his teammates come in for the rotation, but he goes down immediately. That's worst-case scenario there for TyLoo, as we have DD back onto the bomb site in the nick of time, able to drop Zine, but there's still more players where that came from, and they're oncoming quickly. They make the kill happen fast, as they needed to do, and now the bomb can go down.
Somebody coming in from the B bomb site. It's got 3 players to eliminate. It's got a Molotov, flash, and a defuse kit. And again, it's that problem plant, which is so bad for the CTs on the retake. You've got a 1 versus 3, and the bomb's in the most exposed position. Sound playing the blind spot, but oh, that is lovely stuff. Somebody, oh my God, how's he doing this? There's 1 player left. Oh my God, that would have been crushing and amazing at the same time, but Argency holds on for his team.
That second shot, what on earth was that? I feel like we've seen shots like that a couple of times throughout this tournament, but I think he was in mid-air when he got that like long-range headshot. That was unreal. So scary. And I think we're going to get a replay here indeed of these. The second shot is... I'm not sure actually. I think he was running, but I don't think he was off the edge yet. But still, pretty insane. And 6-3. MVP, throwing in some fights here, coming back with some great aggressions. And, I mean, they got ahead there because of the aggression of Mo, ultimately. Taking those risks in a forward position. Looks like Fancy's on the AWP now. Mo is he's decided to give up the AWP for now.
Everyone calm down. TyLoo changing their setup every round. You see they've got 2 men on long, DD close behind the boulder, and then Fancy further back. It's always interesting when you see the flashbangs towards the long area. HSK missing a shot towards short there. Rinder gets taken down. Just 1 man peeking towards long. I think he may have flashed himself in, but of course DD was looking at the floor, avoiding those flashbangs. Fancy with a lovely angle, waiting for a usual spot for the tees, and it pays off. Bomb moving towards B though, where attacker's being picked off.
Yeah, it's just going to be tough to save this round at this point. It's awesome, though, because there's a chance. They have the bomb plant. They can play post-plant shenanigans. You've got Zine. He's a little bit weak here, but you got Zine. And there's the first kill. Also, Sound making one on the bomb side itself. So all of a sudden, a 2 versus 2 right now as DD is looking for Zine. And he's going to find the kill. Just barely escapes with 18 points of health there from that engagement. And now it's down to Sound. Resting, waiting, focused on the bomb site as the bomb ticks away, and time starts to be a pressing issue for the CTs as they come in, and that is perfect. You can't ask for a better engagement. 1 versus 2, and the defuse comes in.
TyLoo looking really scary on their CT side at the moment, especially with the confidence in their plays, unleashing Mo when they have good opportunity to. Right now, their money's not necessarily in the right place with which to do that. Problem is, he's got a forward spawn. Okay, but they're still giving him the M4. He was facing Fancy. I was wondering if he was asking for the AWP, but Fancy drops an M4 for him. So maybe he'll make his way towards Connector again. Pause coming in for the MVP side. And again, even that round that MVP won recently was so laboured. Surviving with one player at the end there. Great individual play from TyLoo, looking a lot more dangerous now. It seems they're continuously warming up as these rounds continue.
I like that we have Deagles here, and well, hopefully not just one. Okay, there's only one Deagle. Okay, I like that we have a Deagle here because as you said, the damage was done, and again, you get two choices in a round like this for MVP. Either you play for the plant or you play for damage. Playing for damage right now is very impactful as their money's already pretty good. MVP, that is, they don't need the bomb plant, but what they can do is a lot with frags. So I would have liked to see the Eagles, but we get the P250 delivering one kill. But Fancy just standing there, just delivering death. But 2 frags and an all picked up. This has gone very well for MVP.
Bomb needs to be collected for Argency, but first he's going to check his angles. And he may find a player on the door. The CT's making noise as well. The spray comes in, but surely he's going to be hungry for the peak. Somebody smartly goes past the angle as opposed to standing in the angle. Argency with a lot of work to do, and the CTs are close enough that they will hear the scope at the very least. Is he going to look back towards Connector? I sincerely hope so, but the elbow will show first, and he'll get taken down for free. AWP recovered for TyLoo. Good score for TyLoo at the moment. MVP's loss bonus isn't fantastic. It's not spectacular, but it seems they'll be going for the buy in this round. Rinda dropping to the Galil. Good stuff there by Fancy, but again, oh man. These AWPers on TyLoo in these 2 maps are savage.
Yeah, you can see why Fancy picks it up. And now we've got DD on it, so that's really interesting that you see Mo on it, you see Fancy on it. Now we're seeing DD with the AWP with the spawn perhaps, and indeed looking for that aggression. And it's going to be Fancy who finds the frag on the aggression, taking Sewers away from MVP. But we don't get, the proper support there. Perhaps the timing, the coordination didn't work out from the connector area for the trade, and instead of a trade situation, it's the CTs that get a 1 versus 1 and then a 1 versus 1 again. So that's very favorable. 3 versus 5 here for MVP. They have no other choice at this point because they have no map control other than to just charge onto the A-bomb site.
DD was going to go back towards the A site, but Attacker's on the rotation instead, so DD can hold his angles towards toilets. And Attacker having a look towards the long area, rotating towards bank now. The grenades will give the game away. Nobody holding the angles though. Attacker may shut this down by himself. Indeed he will. 3k for him. Nobody lost for TyLoo. The monster continues to stomp over the MVP project on the CT side. And
the money is starting to build pretty nicely, which is good because having the supply of ops seems really, really high value for TyLoo because they can play them with so many players off the spawns and be very reactive in that way. This time we're going to see double ops, Mo and Fancy, which is awesome to see. Fancy's having a hell of a game at the moment on 17 kills, only 12 rounds played. And once again, we have just an eco here from MVP. And again, they're thinking about damage, but in this time, they connect to play. Last time it's Mo kind of failing in this spot, but this time it's Fancy just wrecking fools as they approach. And this time, a much better result for TyLoo on the anti-eco.
2 players left, make that 1 sign taken down in connector as well. And Sound can't get any frags. TyLoo have a lot of money, but there's only 2 rounds left anyway. For MVP, this is, I think this was the pick of MVP, which would probably explain why TyLoo are on the CT side. So definitely not going MVP's way at the moment. You have to wonder if they'll get enough rounds at all in this half to mount a reasonable comeback. Seen a few 11-4s in this qualifier so far across different matches, and this might be another one.
So just a patient setup here for TyLoo. They've got 3 players towards B, perhaps expecting early into this round that there would be some sort of a contact play or push or rush of some kind onto the B-bomb site. And MVP haven't thrown it out for a while, so it would be reasonable to expect that. Also, it does allow them, if they really want to go for it, to try to take sewers. But perhaps no presence to a forward presence on the toilets. Maybe they don't fancy their chances there, as there's no potential to kind of backstab if Ts are pushing sewers. And that does seem to be the case here. We've got MVP just sitting in connector, and this is such an important area to hold. It opens up the path between the A and the B sides of the map for the T side. So it's very important as the options go. But they haven't taken any control towards toilets, so they don't know what's going on there. And losing HSK by Suez, this kind of, I think, commits them towards this B bomb site.
Still three players and one more rotating. Finally, they've got a kill on the board. Attacker goes down, and there goes somebody as well. But we've got DD fast on the flank, plays in the water. Bomb needs to be collected. Down goes the flank from DD. Got the orb still in play. Sign naded to 2 HP. Mo's on the low ground of the AWP. That might be awkward, but it is Mo after all, and he does deliver time and time again. Trying to find a pot shot for the plant, but he won't. 2 orbs on the retake here, and here comes Fancy. Fancy now versus Sign with 2 HP. The CZ comes out, and that will deliver the job. 11 rounds on the board for TyLoo. Fancy and Mo putting on a clinic at the moment.
Fancy is having a hell of a game, that is definitely for sure. It's really fun to watch him, actually. He's got a quite nice style, quite a satisfying style to watch. I think a lot of the TyLoo players do actually. Mo on the AWP is quite fun to watch, and somebody's a pretty nutty rifler as well when he gets going. Either way, it is Fancy with all the frags so far. 21 now in 14 rounds. He continues this madness. This is looking really bad for MVP at this point. It might only be 3 rounds at this rate. We've got double orbs here rolling in still for TyLoo. They seem to really favor this setup, and Fancy's going towards A long right now, and it's so cool to see the versatility. And we also have Mo, the other opper, going towards the toilet side, towards the party area, so they have all the ops towards the A side of the map.
Yeah, that's bad news for MVP. They don't have any answer to these AWPs at the moment. Mo unlucky to not connect that one. Let's see, he's moving towards the long area. Are we going to see a fast round attempted by MVP? Mo missing some more shots there. Finally taking down Rinda. Now we can go back to this channel, the funnel. Sound goes down. Finally a trade comes in. But where is the second AWPer? Down to the 3 versus 3. Argency smoking the balcony area, maybe suggesting a fake. We have DD deep in the B bomb site, but somebody is a non-believer moving towards the A site where the bomb is headed in long. Fancy may go for a peek and long eventually, playing the shadow spot at the moment. Jumping peek perhaps, straight into a flashbang. 3 players for MVP, all about to attack the A site.
Yeah, and I think TyLoo kind of saving the best for last here. They've got Fancy on the bomb site, and he's going to have to do everything by himself with the AWP, and it's going to be close ranges. He's going to actually pull out the CZ for now as DD is making his way across, but Fancy's smoked off. What is he going to do? What's the play? He's got a flash coming in to try to get out there, but there's 3 players. The bomb being planted for Toilets right now from the T side. Fancy has everything to do. There's the first frag for Fancy. Pulls out the CZ. Already a few bullets wasted here. This starts to get very difficult. Orb has to come out right now as he looks for the no-scope, but cannot connect. His Sign finishing the business here for the MVP side to scrounge back around right at the end of the first half here. 4 rounds is really not that much. They have a hell of a job ahead of them.
11-4 it will be, but indeed, those last 2 rounds for MVP, so hard to claw their way through those rounds. So difficult. But maybe the worst is over for MVP if they can get this pistol round. Just like MVP, TyLoo will have 5 Kevlars. Will they rush straight into B as MVP did eventually? HSK, 2 flashes and a defuse kit. In situations like this, we've often seen a smoke and a defuse kit, but it will be the 2 flashes on this occasion. And TyLoo putting the Mandem into the connector area, the crab walk as well, but without the dualies.
Not sure what was somebody doing there. The glitch.
Maybe a hair on his laser mouse.
Yeah, that might be it. Glitch in the programming. And TyLoo going to make their way up toilets. I like this. This is simple, James.
It is simple, but will it be effective? There is a full rotation. Oh, TyLoo, are they up to these shenanigans again? Are they doing the round the world, Dan? This is confusing now for MVP. They're out of position. They're not sure what's real and what's fake. They're not sure if it's Diamonds, Dan, or Cubic Zirconia. TyLoo moving back into the connector position, and Argency's in a position to peek around the sandbags. TyLoo are being very confusing. They're just making footsteps everywhere. Reminds me of the old Inferno. You could be standing outside B on the T side, just make one step deliberately, which may appear to be an accident. Rotate people towards B, but TyLoo they're making footsteps everywhere. They're showing presence everywhere. But the clock continues to tick, and MVP patiently waiting. Sign with a very nice angle, and they may not even realize where he's standing at the moment. More players coming his way. Can he get more shots? So very patient taps. Oh, there are backs to them. Finally, Sign goes down, but all the frags really going the way of MVP. Patient play, weren't baited by TyLoo, weren't pulled too far out of position, and they will have a successful pistol round. Can they string some rounds together, though? Will TyLoo go for the force?
I think it's a great option, especially on a map like this, where you can... I mean, we've seen so many teams struggle with just the inherent variance of the B-bomb site rush, from the Ts, and also the general rushes on the toilet. Sometimes teams just kind of make the mistake positionally when they're up against a force buy, and they play a little bit too deep, and they get caught by that one player, and then all of a sudden on the A side of the map, you're caught running all the way back to the bomb site, and it's really awkward. So there's definitely a lot of options here for force buys. So I'm very happy to see that TyLoo are going to go for that one.
Look at that green bar.
Yeah.
Fancy.
He's doing mad work.
He is miles away. That is insane behavior.
His AWPing's been really good, actually. He has definitely been the standout AWP-wise for TyLoo as well. So I wonder if he's going to be picking it up on the T side at all in the future rounds. Or maybe, I mean, they might even opt to just not really play AWPs. I mean, it's really viable not to do that. Like, not to really AWP that much on this map as well.
Yeah. T side especially, in particular. Well then, TyLoo have gone for the force buy. They took a tactical pause to perhaps plan out this round, maybe the coming rounds as well. Let's see if they're successful on this occasion. A passive start, slow start. Again, they've got players in connector. MVP not making the mistake of heading into connector on an anti-eco, anti-force buy round. DD is outside the B area, just in case there's any pushes from MVP. And indeed, TyLoo playing the numbers game as best they can, but MVP not looking to make any mistakes at the moment. They can't afford to with a 6-round deficit. 2 players deep into the B bomb site. Argency is going to be holding down short B for the time being. Now we see the approach of the Dragon.
Yeah, because they have the 2 smokes, so one of the best things if you have 2 smokes is just walling off the B-bomb site. It just gives you the plant, basically. And you can also make it really difficult for the guy that's standing on the barrels. You just isolate those players on the site. So this is so awesome because it's so quick to get your Tech 9s right onto the bomb site in front of the CD players where they have to just battle with close ranges. It's impossible for them to keep you at distances. So this is really perfect. It's going to come down to that, just the pure individual performance of MVP. MVP have to hit those first shots. They really have to hit the first shots. Even though there's reinforcements here, the Tech 9s are still always going to be dangerous.
I love the pre-fire from Argency through the tunnel. Is it going to be enough, though? Sound with 3 kills. Perfect cleanup by MVP, not a single player lost. And you have to give credit to MVP for how delayed their smokes were into the monster tunnel. They ruined the timing of TyLoo. They forced TyLoo's hand, and TyLoo ran straight into the meat grinder there, face first.
And it's interesting too because I think TyLoo in rounds like this, we talk about does a team have a drill prepared for that situation when they're force buying, when they didn't get the bomb down on the pistol round, but they lose that pistol round. If they look at that round, I mean, the big problem there was of course barrels. So as an adjustment in the future, they have a player without Kevlar who's able to afford a Molotov so that they can get rid of that one position. It's interesting how maybe they will evolve in that sense. Because otherwise, if they just get past that first choke point, it's pretty difficult to stop that push. But this time it's just Glocks. I mean, what can you really expect?
4 Glocks and a P250 onto DD, who's carrying the bomb, and last man standing for a side. There may be a gun on the floor somewhere. Argency, though, flying through the air. Got a lot of support from the crowd for that one. 4 rounds now behind our MVP, but here comes crunch time. Here comes the buy of TyLoo. Doesn't include an AWP just yet. Another interesting thing is, will TyLoo, if they don't choose to buy an AWP, I don't know that they had the money. Well, they didn't have the money on this occasion, but if they did and they chose not to buy one, I do wonder if they'll pick one up if there is one from MVP at their feet. We'll find out. TyLoo putting loads of numbers towards the fountain area, not pushing too far just yet. HSK and co. Not going to put themselves too much at risk. That is a failed flashbang, unfortunately, hits the light. And yeah, HSK may need to back up here. His teammate's gone down as well, and he cannot get out of position fast enough. Big picks for TyLoo early on.
Yeah, the movement, though, from Rinder, this could be very important. He's managed to find sort of a blind spot, and he's kind of wrapping around the back, or just leaving himself around the Toilet's position right now. As the bomb's going down, it's being planted for Toilets. And so Rinder's just sitting there, biding his time, comes out of the smoke here. Free kill for him, that's 1. Spots the second player. Oh, I can't get it in with the FAMAS, unfortunately for him and for MVP, as now it's going to be Mo with the flank there onto Sign, and all of the hope has been snuffed out of that round for MVP. It's closed down by TyLoo, 12-7. I thought the potential was big there for Rinder, but only able to get that one kill.
I don't know if that round would have been completely different if that first flashbang didn't hit the light and bounce backwards, because I mean, it wasn't the best flashbang in the world, so maybe they would have been able to avoid it, but MVP caught completely out of position. The rifler support for the sniper picked off on the outside. The smoke pulled out. There was not much HSK could do once his AWP wasn't out, obviously, and then it was just a complete disaster after that. So the MVP broken very early on. This is a key round. They've got their rebuy, but they've got no more money in the bank. Good start for HSK towards the boulder.
And already 2 players down early on here for the TyLoo side, so already you start to get towards desperation mode when you've just got 3 players. You don't really have much map control. In fact, there's no map control here for TyLoo. They don't have anyone on sewers. They don't have deep, toilets control or long control or anything like that. So they're going to have to just kind of take it together and just try to trade their way into success. But as you can see, it's not all hopeless in a situation like this, because there's also inherent risks for MVP. And MVP have already a 2-man advantage. They don't really need to try to push and try to find another 1 versus 1 and have that be 1 versus 1 where they gamble to win it, to have a decisive advantage, because they already have a good advantage. They can sit on the bomb sites, but TyLoo know this. TyLoo know it's going to be a 2 versus 3 situation on one of these bomb sites, and they're picking the B bomb site. Will they have success though?
Argency still has a smoke grenade, but he's not in a position to throw it. Sound by the barrels. Argency trying to shut down the short area. His teammate's gone down. How many can he find? The spray transfer is not going to be good on this occasion. Attacker to trade. 2 versus 2. He's heavily tagged though as attacker. Going to use that smoke on the high ground to plant exposed. We'll see if the CTs can get anything done. He can run distraction now. Lab fancies to get a 2-man spray down. There's the first one. Trying to get a second though. Repositioning from HSK. The AWP comes out, but Attacker will take it down. 6 HP. He will prevail, and MVP have been broken with TyLoo 3 rounds away from the 2-0.
It's not looking good, is it? I mean, it's not like Dust 2 where we saw MVP with that really strong start. This is one of the few times we've actually seen TyLoo having a good start, and they're kind of carrying it through all the way to the end here. And the AWP is on Mo indeed. And he's not been having the best overpass, actually. There's been lots of spots where you might expect to see more from him. It's really been Fancy who's been shining more with the AWP than Mo has. But he's done enough. And of course, TyLoo do have that advantage.
TyLoo have called a tactical pause here as well after breaking the economy of MVP. So maybe this is something we were talking about. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but yeah, they can discuss how to best approach this anti-eco round, what to expect from MVP, and how best to deal with it. We will see what their approach is. Nothing much bought by MVP in this case.
I guess it's always possible too that TyLoo are just like reconfirming that okay, they actually have no money. They actually don't have any money, so we actually should take the anti-eco positions, or maybe they want to adjust that, adjust that round slightly in some way, because they've played some risky rounds. But we have a bit of a stack here from MVP, so I don't want to count them out because we've seen so many shenanigans here in the past. Here comes TyLoo. They're going to discover the stack very soon.
Argency's got those 2 flashes as well, so they've got a similar approach to what they had on Dust 2. They lose long, but the flank is coming in with 3 players. There goes somebody, and Mo coming in from the back with 2 kills. Asaka with 2 more. And another round in the bag for TyLoo. Now Mo showing up, but indeed, Fancy is just playing the game of his life at the moment. 39 frags on the previous map, 27 miles ahead of anybody else. 2 rounds away are TyLoo from taking this match 2-0. I
have to say, I do really like the idea of MVP there, because they had the 1 player on long, and it's by design that they're expecting that round to happen. So they're like, okay, this guy's going to be on long to confirm what's going on. He'll probably die, and then we can try to flank with everybody. That's actually a really smart play from MVP, even though, of course, it doesn't work out because you've got to connect the shots. I do love the thought behind that. And well, it does come down to the shots, though, and not the thoughts necessarily in this in the end. And right now, TyLoo have definitely been out shooting MVP overall, and this is one of the last chances that MVP are going to have it. This is the last good chance, perhaps, that MVP could have against TyLoo to stop their reign of terror. They have 1 player in a forward position, but otherwise, MVP do not have any understanding of what's going on the map.
Oh, Fancy spotted. Sign He's gone for the gimmick play, and it hasn't worked out for them. Early disadvantages. Rinder as well was deep towards toilets behind the smoke and then just ran away, similar to how HSK went down before. Trades towards the A site. Full rotation coming in from the CTs, but for now, there's only one player there. That's HSK. No frags for him. 2 versus 4 now. MVP may feel like they have no choice. Bomb just about going down. Argentina looking the wrong way, just desperately strafing onto the site. They're not going to work out for him. And MVP quite simply get wiped out in that round. Match point for TyLoo.
Yeah, a really good round from Attacker, actually. Gets himself the quad kill. And on Dust 2, he was having a really hard time, actually, in regular time at least. We saw him make a lot of clutches, very important clutches on overtime, but in regular time, he had a bad Dust 2. And
that's another pause from TyLoo.
Maybe they're just trying to rub it in, James. Look at your hopeless situation. We want you just to bask in the hopelessness.
Bask in the barren landscape of your inventory. The barren landscape of your bank accounts.
But it's also cool as well because it's another one of those situations where, okay, we have a big advantage here. Guys, let's just close down the advantage. Let's not allow anything here. Let's just give some time, have a breather to just properly refocus here, to make 0 mistakes and just close it down 16-7, and then that's a wrap.
Yeah, why not use everything in your arsenal, including the timeouts. Traffic jam from TyLoo. What are they going for here? These are the smokes towards the toilets area, to that open passage. Shutting off some of the sneakier angles that MVP may want to hold. There goes one of the smokes. Sign playing close. Nobody's holding the angle there. He could do some damage coming in for an instant flank. Needs to get close there with the UMP, so he won't shoot straight away. Takes down Mo. What else can be done here? HSK spraying through, but he's not having much success towards the doors. Bomb now in control of the CTs. TyLoo players all over the place. Towards the A site, more trades coming in. That's Argency versus 2 to keep his team in this game. So far, so good. Fancy coming in for the flank. And Agency seems to have the right angle. He seems to know where he's coming from, but he can't get the kill. 16-7, TyLoo dominating Overpass from start to finish pretty much.
Perhaps the result we expected, but perhaps TyLoo didn't quite get to that result in the way we expected. Dust 2 was really, really troubling for them, but moving into Overpass, we've seen how much they enjoy Overpass. We've seen what they have to throw in on an Overpass game. They've got so much on the CT side to give with regards to how dynamic they can play. I think the map suits them very well, and we really saw that result here. And it's good to see that they're nice and warm and also playing across the board very well individually.
Yeah, and I'm glad TyLoo have gone through to the next stage of the bracket, purely because we can see more of their pistol round shenanigans on the T side. Quite entertaining to watch. But yeah, it seems first game of the day. Came in cold, definitely warm by the second one though. And again, it was a dominating performance on Overpass, so MVP have made their exit from this tournament. Absolutely.
It's always sad to see a team like MVP go, but as Natu said, they have been much improved. So next time we see them, I think it will be the same story. And it's now time to welcome back a series of handsome gentlemen to the desk.
Where? I don't know. Maybe up in there somewhere.
Take the compliment.
Well,
Scoots.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
For once.
Thank you very much. Yeah, TyLoo did exactly what we kind of thought they would do from the get-go. That was definitely their map all day. A little bit of the second round, MVP tried to get a few rounds together, but just wasn't going to be. The boys of TyLoo had some fun at the end of that.
It was very solid, yeah.
Very solid. All right, John, let's talk a little bit about it. Again, MVP's map choice. But it looked like it was TyLoo's at that point.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about, going back to the veto, the fact that we were expecting either Nuke or Kabul to be MVP's map pick, simply because that's 2 of the weakest maps for TyLoo. Overpass is a map that TyLoo do very well on. And obviously, we saw the exception yesterday versus Vici, but today you see kind of why we were surprised by the fact that Overpass ended up being MVP's choice, because TyLoo definitely know what they're doing. So yeah, no, it goes a bit. Yeah, it's like it ends up being a bit different how it plays out in the end, with it being such a close game on Dust 2 and then a bit of a stomp on Overpass. But in the end, you see TyLoo being the better team, which is kind of what we expected.
Yeah, you kind of have to have really good build-ups in this map, right? It's a lot about the map control, taking over beach or taking over the toilets. You're actually trying to force the CDs to fall back, have less information, and then with the fast rotation time, you'll still have an option of even throwing a fake at the opponent, maybe smoke off A and then go through connector to B and all that kind of jazz. So there's a lot of options here, right? MVP not really getting to do any of that. TyLoo just being all over their their face throughout the match, right? And then once they start hitting their shots and they really hit their stride, it's just super hard for MVP to really do anything, right? So I think it's more than anything, it's TyLoo really waking up to the game, getting their engine oiled through the later parts of Dust 2 that really it went the way that we expected, right?
Yeah, and also, there's poor timing and poor luck from MVP's side as well, because you see one of the rounds that we saw during the highlights that where attacker is flashed through Monster and picks up 2 frags. That's right after that HSK has picked up an opening frag for MVP towards that B bomb. So normally that would put you in a really good position to pick up another round. That was also a situation where they'd actually won a round just prior. So at that point, you're starting to mess with the CT economy, and you could potentially string a couple of rounds together. That never happened for MVP. They never got to a point where they broke TyLoo, and whenever they won a round, they just got immediately reset. Albeit not the worst thing in the world when you're playing the T side, but it's obviously still, you want to have the opportunity to really put TyLoo against the wall, and they never got to that point. And small things like, small situations like attacker's double kill in that situation that does it for them. So that's a bit of a shame to see, but in the end, I think you could say the correct team won, right? I think there was like a pretty big discrepancy between the two teams in just terms of skill on that map.
Yeah, MVP can really hold their heads high, though. I mean,
definitely.
They've gone through
Yeah.
From being a team that had the theoretical ideas of how to play Counter-Strike to having moments of them actually looking like a team of Counter-Strike team, right?
Yeah,
so
they're putting it into practice.
They've definitely improved. It's going to be exciting to see what they do in the following 6 months and how they keep improving, right?
Well, you're a Rambo. What are the first things you tackle?
Well, first off, you should make them start losing pistol rounds, because apparently, the trend so far is that whenever MVP loses a pistol round, they do way better for the remainder of the game, and whenever they win pistol rounds, because they won both pistol rounds on Overpass.
Yeah,
and that didn't go well for them. So, you have to, get the mind games in, right? Like, convince them to lose pistol rounds. Then everything will be fine from there on out.
Just show a ton of their games, basically, and show how they do mistakes in terms of, like, how long is the distance between one player to another once they're, like, entering a bomb site, which means that the longer the distance, the harder it is for a refrag, right? So you have to have that, like, synchronization between the 2 players, for example, or 3 players that are committing to a push. Then having a lot of different protocols on if certain things happen, how do we react? If a guy dies here, what do we do? So it's just a lot of small little things that need to go to the correct direction, and then that's going to make a massive difference. The difference between winning and losing in Counter-Strike is very, very small. Individual skill in itself is just one factor, but then putting all those little things together towards that really to make rounds happen.
All right, let's take a look at the scoreboard, bring you guys up to date on how everybody did in that match. Vendetta, what's going to jump out for you?
Well, Fancy had his first good series of the day, and that's really we went into this tournament talking about how Fancy was touted as being the next new star from China back in 2015. That really never came through. And for the better part of this tournament as well, it's been other people that TyLoo had to rely on, whether it's Smo, somebody, or DD. But in this series, we really saw Fancy showing up and doing what we've seen him do every now and again.
And be versatile, right? Like, it's just utilizing every weapon in the game, basically, and being a menace.
And especially with the op as well, you saw what they can do with TyLoo when they have the economy on their side and are able to go to a double op setup. When Fancy's feeling as good as he is at that time as well, you can just let him roll with it alone and still give you good results. So, definitely it's very, very solid series from him. And it's kind of nice to see, because he has been, up to this point, the only player who hasn't really had any big moments in that sense. Even Attacker, even though he had a lackluster stat game on Dust 2, for the better part of the latter part of the second half and overtime, he was just constantly in important situations and coming through in the clutch. So, he has moments like that. But Fancy, for the better part of it, never really had that until this series. So that was good for them.
All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are lucky enough to be joined by the one and the only Captain Mo. Congratulations, Captain Mo. I have a general question for you first before we get into some details about the matches. You are a longtime TyLoo player. You played 1.6. You've played other versions of Counter-Strike. How are you enjoying Counter-Strike Global Offensive as a game?
他想问的就是，自从你在天路是待了很长一段时间，从1.6开始，然后到可能有比如 CS:GO， 然后到现在的 CS:GO， 然后你对于 CS:GO 这个游戏，你觉得是你怎么享受这个比赛吗？
我觉得这样就是CS CS 1.6和 CS:GO 是完全不同的。然后我觉得这样 CS:GO 会让我玩起来更享受吧，更享受这个比赛的过程。
He thinks that CS 1.6 and CS:GO is a totally different games, and for himself, he thinks that CS:GO will make him more enjoy the game and every tournament, every event.
All right, thank you. Question, gentlemen?
It goes really back to the veto process today because we were talking about how we were expecting to see either Cobblestone or Nuke being picked up by MVP if they were left open. So I was just curious if TyLoo were surprised by the fact that MVP chose to go with Overpass as their map pick, and if that's something they felt really comfortable going into.
他问的就是我们和这个评论席还有很多观众的预计，这场比赛可能会有比如说Nuke或者 Cobble，但是我们没有想到MVP 会选择了 Overpass。然后你们作为队员，在进入这场比赛的时候，你们会觉得有信心吗？
说实话，我也没有想到他们会选 Overpass 这张图。我们想的也是 Cobble，因为我们办了Nuke嘛，然后我们想着他们会选的是 Cobble，结果他们选的是 Overpass，可能是之前跟 MVP 有过交手，然后他们觉得这样我们的 Overpass 可能有突破口在，然后所以我觉得他们这样认为才选的 Overpass。
Because actually we didn't expect they to pick Overpass. We banned Nuke, so we expect them to pick Cobblestone. But I think it might be because they have watched our demos or anything. They think there would be chances for them to win us on Overpass, so they picked Overpass.
Yeah. Now next up you have VG Cyberzen, the local rivalry. Obviously you guys lost yesterday. How is the matchup for you guys? Is it like a fierce kind of a battle, or do you guys practice much together? And like, how do you approach the game against VG compared to other games?
首先是昨天我们输给了 VG， 然后今天接下来又要打 VG。我们对这场比赛有做很大的准备吗？或者说你们心态是怎么样？
对阵 VG 这场比赛是一场非常艰难的比赛，然后我们就是昨天也有做过功课，然后我们我希望就是我们之后的比赛，就是我们几个队员都有80%以上的发挥吧。
Actually, every time facing VG would be a very tough game, especially this one. And we actually have done preparation last night, and also he hopes that every player could have to perform their at least 80% of their performance.
Okay. Anything else, gentlemen? You got one more?
Yeah, obviously we haven't seen too much of TyLoo obviously playing international teams ever since Valve changed their coaching rule, and we know that Karsa has been a big part of the preparation, at least part for TyLoo. So how has that been, a bump in the road for you guys? Have the fact that you're not allowed to use Karsa or have him in game as much been a big factor for you guys, or are you still able to make it work?
就是在 Wolf 的这个新规则之后，就是 Casa 或者说教练不能在比赛中参与太多。那么你觉得这个规则对于我们的影响大吗？或者说 Casa 对 Casa 的影响有多大？
我觉得下这个规则确实对我们来说，对我们天路这支队伍来说，然后影响挺大的。因为我们就是之前的比赛，之前出国的比赛，然后都是就教练在后面站着，然后对于我们起到了很大的作用。然后现在他就是教练在后面不能说话，只有暂停的时候才能说话。我觉得下现在就是会让我们就是猛的一下就很不适应的。
He thinks there's a big impact to us, especially every tournament we had, international tournaments. Casa had been actually contributed a lot in our in-game play, and so suddenly this event, we feel a little bit not easy to get used to.
Yeah, I was also wondering if you guys have thought about maybe having a longer period of time boot camp maybe in Europe or something like that, since we've seen teams like the SK, for example, emerging, going from Brazil to North America to find a better practice environment, I guess, if that's something that TyLoo's been thinking about.
我没有想过，比如说会到欧洲或者美国去集训嘛？就比如说我们看到 SK 他们从巴西到了美国之后是提高了很多，就我们有没有这样的安排或者准备？
我们就是接下来 IBP 这个比赛 Overpower 那个比赛，然后就是我们会提前10天去美洲训练。
Actually, we plan to go to the United States to boot camp strictly after this event and to prepare for the Overpower event.
Okay, cool.
Fantastic. Any more questions, Doman?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm satisfied.
Great. Yeah, me too. Great stuff. Thank you very much. Congratulations again. Good luck with your country rivals at the next match. That will do it for our segment. So when we come back, again, TyLoo, Captain Mo, and gang are going to take on their country rivals VG Cyberzen to see who gets to play Renegades in the grand finals later on today.